Ventura.
Yes, Satan? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You sounded like someone else.
This is Mark Margolis, a legendary actor with over 150 credits to his name. Nowadays, he's perhaps best known for his roles as various henchmen and criminals over the years, most notably his Emmy-nominated performance as Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But before his bell-ringing days, Mark studied with iconic actress and teacher Stella Adler in New York, acting in plays until his unusual first IMDb credit, a porn film called The Opening of Misty Beethoven. But to be clear, Mark was not a performer. He just had a great punchline as an irritated passenger on an airplane that offers first-class services.
We had wine with dinner, a brandy, 2 and a headset, right?
Excuse me, but I had one and I haven't gotten my brandy yet.
You're hustling us, cop. Now, why would you do a thing like that?
Throughout the 70s and early 80s, Mark played characters that more often than not weren't even given a name. First gunman, prison guard, man number 2. But then in 1983, he played Alberto the Shadow in Scarface, a cold hitman working for Alejandro Sosa.
10 metros. Muévete. Muévete! Okay, shut the up, okay?
This brings up an interesting aspect of Mark's career. He has an ethnically diverse resume of characters that he's played. Despite coming from a Jewish immigrant family and growing up in Philly, he was completely convincing in Scarface as this Bolivian hitman, or an Italian mobster in several seasons of Oz, or this Romanian gypsy in an episode of Law & Order. And look at this, he even played a Tanugan, Dr. Nell Apgar, in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Mark is also known for his longtime collaboration with writer-director Darren Aronofsky, who first cast him as an old mathematician in his 1998 psychological thriller Pi. Following that, he was Mr. Rabinowitz, aka the guy who keeps selling Mrs. Goldfarb's TV back to her in Requiem for a Dream, a priest in The Fountain, and an irritable landlord in The Wrestler.
Oh, come on, Lenny. You know I'm always good for it.
Yeah, you're always good for it every time this happens.
Come on, brother. My back went out. Let me just at least get my ice
I
packs.
cannot help you.
And speaking of landlords, my personal favorite role of Mark's is Mr. Chickadance in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
I heard animals in there, Ventura. I heard them again this morning scratching around.
Then in 2009, Mark was cast as Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad, who's wheelchair-bound and can only speak by ringing a bell. Mark has said in interviews that for some of Hector's physical mannerisms, he drew inspiration from his real-life mother-in-law, who had suffered a stroke. Mark has continued working steadily, acting in everything ever made, and has seemed to garner a reputation for playing a lot of unsavory characters. But he's played plenty of normal human beings who aren't psychotic, a perfume expert in Hannibal, a Holocaust survivor in American Horror Story, and his characters in Darren Aronofsky's films haven't been creeps. Darren goes to Stanley B. Herman for that. In a 2016 interview, Mark said, "I just want to be known as pert and perky and sweet." After his vindictive performance as Hector Salamanca, it may be difficult to see, but with his 40-plus years of experience, I bet it's as easy for him as ringing a bell.